For those of you that are saying, oh yes, it's just a glorified Toyota Camry. No. No. Hey guys, today we're here and we're reviewing this, the Lexus ES300h. So we are driving the Lexus ES300h 2020 model. What can I say? I absolutely love this car. I love the way it looks, I love the way it drives, I love all the features in it, I love it as a daily driver. I've been driving this car for a very long time now. So today we're going to go into all the features of the car, the different models that they have for the car, how the thing feels on the road, how the hybrid technologies work, and of course we're going to do our walk around and just go into all the bits and pieces which make this Lexus extra special. Now the car runs on 18-inch wheels, and unlike the Luxury, which is the entry level, which runs on 17s, and the F-Sport, which runs on 19s, the 18s are actually a really comfortable drive. It's that perfect mixture of just enough comfort to keep the car smooth, nice on the road, but also big enough to make sure there isn't too much roll in there. I have to say, I love the line on this car. It looks more of a sports coupe than it does a sedan, and yes, it does take away from that headroom in the back, so really anyone taller than 6 foot, I say about 5'11", anyone taller than 6 foot might not be as comfortable in the back because they will find their head touching the roof lining, but what a beautiful car! There isn't a whole lot to say about the back. However, the boot on the Sports Luxury is automatic. So, nice and easy. Let's have a chat about the interior of the ES. And I have to say, it's probably my favorite interior of all the Lexus range, because everything is where it should be. Now, what I mean by that is, you've got all the buttons on your steering wheel for your radio, your media, your control center. Got your adaptive cruise control all on the steering wheel now as well. Your paddle shifts if you want them. Your headlights are automatic. Your wipers are automatic as well. You've got these two knobs here for sports, normal and eco, and traction control. And yes, it's LFA inspired. Yes, some people love it, some people hate it. It's there. And while you're driving, really, it sort of like disappears out of the view. You've got your heads-up display button there. You've got your camera view button there as well. And what's awesome is as soon as you put it into reverse, the cameras come onto the screen straight away anyway, the whole 360 view. And when you put it into drive, you can actually press the button and have the cameras locked in on the front camera. And as soon as you hit 10 kilometers per hour, they turn off automatically. Now, I actually really love the dash. There's a lot of layers going on around it. And I know it makes the car look very different, but it's not boring, actually far from it. And what I do love is this huge screen here in the center, and you can see you can actually do like side by side almost. You can have it on full as well, so let's say if I want to just have map, I can have my map on the whole screen. But what I love is that they've still kept buttons for everything that's important. Now, the climate control settings, there's still buttons, really straightforward, really easy to use, and they're there. So when you're sitting down, they're there, nice and easy. Of course, your volume control settings. Now, stuff that you're not going to use way too often, but you still will. They're down here. That's your air conditioning seating, heated seating, your steering wheel heated, of course. Your rear blind, you can actually put it up and down from here. And of course, the drivers. Now, you'll see an auto button here. If I do this, I can actually have it on automatic, and through all the gizmos and gadgets that this car has, it actually determines whether or not it needs to do cooling or heating, which is actually really cool. Now the car has a CD player as well. Now you've got your one cup holder here, you got a second cup holder here, and what's cool is that I can get my bottle, which is quite large, and it doesn't even obstruct where my hand sits, because it has a dual layer. So if I push this little button here, now it's like a regular cup holder. So it's like really cool feature to have. That's that there. Now if I get rid of that, you got the gear shift lever here. Of course, you got your sports mode. You've got EV mode and your auto hold. Your auto hold button just holds the car every time you come to a complete stop. Actually a great feature to have, really safe. And last but not least is the Lexus touchpad. This is the most controversial of probably anything to have to do with Lexus. But you know what? It's actually super easy to use, and 9 times out of 10 you don't really need to use it because you got this voice control button here. And now just watch this. Find a restaurant.
Showing a list of all restaurants nearby. Say an item number from the list.
3.
Is this correct?
Yes. You always gotta wait for the beep. Always have to wait for the beep. But look at that. You can just talk to it. Now let's say you want to cancel it. Let's say you now know where you are and you want to cancel it. Navigation.
Say a navigation command.
Delete destination.
Delete destination?
Yes. It's that easy. So frankly, you never even have to use the touchpad, but if you do, it's like a mouse. And the biggest annoyance with the touchpad is, especially here in Australia, is that it's on the left-hand side, and a lot of people are right-handed. Left-handed people, they get used to this almost like that, but someone like me, right-handed, this does take some time to get used to. And you know, after a few days of playing with it, it's actually really easy. But guys, that's it about the interior. I think it's time to go for a drive. Okay guys, we are here reviewing the Lexus ES300h. And my goodness, what a gorgeous car. Not just the looks of it, because I absolutely love the looks of it, but the way this thing drives on the road is just spectacular. It's so smooth, it's so comfortable, and it's so nice to drive. Like, for a car which is under $100,000, to get this luxury, to get this smoothness, to get this comfort, it's got the best of every world. Anyways guys, so we are driving the ES300h. It's the only ES that comes out in Australia, which is a little bit annoying. We do not get the ES350, we don't get the ES300, but we do get the hybrid. A little bit about this car: it is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with hybrid technologies. Hybrid meaning that it has the best of both worlds, both petrol and electric power. And unlike a lot of hybrid motors there are in the market nowadays, it's totally self-charging, which means that there is nothing that you need to do to drive the car. It literally charges itself. By driving this car, you're charging the batteries, and by charging the batteries, you're powering the electric motor, and the electric motor which drives you forward, which means the more you drive, the more fuel you save. Like, doesn't get any better than that. Now we're driving in EV mode, and look how smooth it is. It's just so quiet. It's like, is the car on? Yeah, it is. And then you hear this little whine, and it goes forward. Oh, it's so good. Now anyways, we are driving the Sports Luxury Edition, which means that it's got every option under the sun that you can get in one of these cars. And there's no options on this car. Like, you can't option it up with anything more. Now, here in Australia, we've got 3 different editions. We've got the Luxury, we've got the F Sport, and we've got the Sports Luxury. Now, we will go into a few details about the differences between the 3 cars, but just to go into a little bit more history about the car, the ES was one of the 2 cars that were debuted when Lexus came out, and that makes this car really special because we are up to the 7th generation, and my goodness, have they got this right. Like, it's just such a refined car. And for those of you that are saying, oh yes, it's just a glorified Toyota Camry. No. No. That cannot be further from the truth. As Camry-esque as this car may be, this is such its own car that it just makes it so much better, and paying that premium for this car is totally worth it. Now, what makes this ES extra special is that it's got the new hybrid technologies in this car, which means that you can be doing 70 k's an hour, you can be doing apparently up to 100 kilometers per hour, and the car will coast in electric mode, which means that by letting go of the accelerator, you're now coasting. So you're just letting the car, you know, roll along. It's going to go in electric mode and save your fuel up to 100 kilometers per hour. It used to be only about up until 40 or 50 kilometers. And by doing this, this gets the car at around 5 liters per 100 k's. To be exact, 4.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Like, in a sedan, in a car this big and this wide and can fit 5 people comfortably. It's insane. Like, and with all this technology dripping from it. So anyways, we touched briefly about the 3 different models. We've got the luxury, we've got the F Sport, and we've got the sports luxury. Now, what's interesting here in Australia is the price difference between the luxury and the F Sport. Now, usually the F Sport always sits smack bang in the center between the luxury and the sports luxury. Not here in Australia. Pricing, and this is on-road costs including, averages around 66 grand for the luxury, then jumps up to 76 for the F Sport, thereabouts, and then 81 for the sports luxury. And that's because there are so many features in the F Sport that the differences between the F Sports and the sports luxury are so few that it doesn't really justify having a bigger price difference. Anyways, a few of the safety system features: blind spot monitor, standard; adaptive cruise control, standard, and cruise control meaning that it will follow the car in front of you and it will come to a complete halt. It's got lane trace assist, standard, which means it's actually going to keep you inside the lanes. Now, lane trace assist actually embodies 3 lane keeping features. The first one being the alert to tell you when you're coming out of the lane, which just vibrates the steering wheel. The second being, hey, you're pulling out, I'll pull you back in. So the car actually pulls you back in. Now, the third feature which makes the system really special is when you've got the adaptive cruise control on and it's following the car in front of you, it's actually going to be reading the lanes at the exact same time to keep you in the center of the lane. Now, if it doesn't detect the lanes for whatever reason, it's actually going to keep you in the center of the other car in front of you. It's got rear cross traffic alert, and what that is anytime you're reversing out, it's going to tell you if there's any traffic coming from the adjacent streets. So if you're reversing out of a car park, it's going to tell you if someone's coming from the left or the right, which is actually a pretty good feature to have. And just to touch briefly about it, just the key differences: the luxury has new luxe leather, which is fake leather. It's not the word for it, it's fake leather. It's what Audi, Mercedes, and BMW have been doing for so many years. Lexus has now come to the party and decided they're going to start doing it as well, which is a good thing because it brings the cost of entry to Lexus to a reasonable level. It still comes with a sunroof, very interestingly. It still comes with all the safety features. However, it does miss out on the wood trim. It does miss out on the bigger 18-inch wheels. It does miss out on the Mark Levinson audio, the heated and electric cooling seats. It only comes with the heated seats. It doesn't have all the blinds for the back seats or the electric blind for the rear windshield. It doesn't have electric controlled rear seats as well. Like this one here has the reclining capacity. The luxury only comes with dual zone climate control. The sports luxury has 4-zone climate control. Now the F Sport jumps up in features. It still, however, has new Lux seats as standard, which is rather interesting, but it gets the F Sport style seating, gets the F Sport upgrades on the exterior. Oh, another standard feature in the F Sport and the Sports Luxury is the 360-degree cameras, which means that it's got a camera at the front of the car, camera at the rear, and 2 cameras on the sides, and it shows you a bird's eye view of the car. Now you might have seen this. I always say how much I love the Lexus because I think their software to show the car as a bird's eye view is just spot on, and it makes for parking super easy. The F Sport does, however, get the adaptive suspension. So the adaptive variable suspension means that you can now change the dampers, meaning that when you're going around a corner, you're going to have a little bit less roll. The difference is not huge, it really isn't, but if you were to fling it into a corner, you know, like that, then you're going to notice it, and it really becomes what sort of driver are you, you know, because if you're driving as you would in one of these cars, you don't really need it. Now, the Sports Luxury has absolutely everything. It's got the wood grain trim, it's got the Mark Levinson, it's got the semi-aniline soft leather seats, which I absolutely love. It's what makes this car driving a pleasure. And I'm not talking about the leather seating, I'm talking about how these seats are, like the way they hug you, but they're not constricting. For some people, the F Sport seating can be constricting because it's really hugging, really tight. But these ones, it's like a lounge chair, and you can just you can drive for hours and hours and hours and hours and not get tired. It's that smooth and that soft and comfortable. And it's really got a lot of options for the seats. It's got the leg extenders, you know, got the knee support, height adjustment, seat memory for both the driver and passenger. So when it comes time to driving and you have to argue with your other half that, no, I want to drive, no, I want to drive, no, once you finally settle on who's driving the car, you've got seat memory on both, so you got your seat set up the way you like it. It picks up very well. It picks up very well. I've heard a lot of people complain about the CVT engine. I think it actually makes the car for a smoother ride. It's a beautiful day today. Everyone's out for a walk. We're out for a drive. It's gorgeous. It's just so smooth. Oh man, I love this car. For $80,000, there's nothing that you can get which really is the same league. Like, even the cheapest E-Class doesn't have half the gear of this and doesn't hit that price point. Like, we're talking about the top of the range, everything in this Lexus. The E-Class can't compete, the 5 Series can't compete, and the A6, I don't even remember the last time I've even seen an A6 on the road. Like, do those things even exist? It's just so good. And I know we touched on this, everyone's saying, oh yes, it's a Camry. No, it's an ES. It's an ES300h, and it's priced the way it is for a reason, because it's that smooth, it's that comfortable, and it drives so nice. And they do a good job of the finish of it. Like, this is a little bit of rubbery plastic, but it looks good, and that's true. But leather finish here, leather-esque finish here, leather-esque finish here. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Now guys, that is a wrap on the Lexus ES300h. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and if you did, please comment down below. Even if you guys have any questions, happy to answer them, happy to see how I can help out, even if you're considering this car over others. Anyways, my thoughts on the car. I absolutely love this car. I love how smooth it is, how quiet it is. It's striking good looks, and just the overall feel for the price that you really need to pay. Now, I don't know what else there is to say. I actually really like the car. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video, and if you consider subscribing, there's so many cool videos coming up. It's definitely going to be worth watching out for them. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching again, and until next time.